Harun, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to this G Sports side with another exciting interview of another footballer. And today we have with us Haris Zeb, and along with him, I have with me my co-host Shumel Sajid. So let's begin the show. And Haris, my first question is that who is Haris Zeb?
First of all, assalamu alaikum, guys. It's pleasure to be able to talk with you guys. Who is Haris Zeb? Haris is born in New Zealand, Pakistani parents, full-blooded Pakistani. Yeah, just in New Zealand playing football here and trying to get in with the Pakistan football landscape. And yeah, happy to be talking to you guys in the media.
All right. So how did you start your football journey? Please explain about that.
Yeah, sure. So as you know, in New Zealand, football isn't the biggest thing, but especially in Pakistanis, it's always normally cricket. So I think I was quite lucky growing up. My cousins first got into football, and I was very close with my cousin. And I think, yeah, obviously he started playing, and then I just started grassroots following his sort of footsteps and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I was honestly just carried on. I was playing a lot of different sports like rugby, basketball, touch, a bit of everything. But football was definitely the one that I found the most fun in and where I think I excelled the most. So yeah, definitely just got to thank my cousin.
So what was that moment that when you realized that you can go in football like professionally, you can start the football?
For me, it was always sort of the career progression. So for me, I'm sort of realistic. It was always sort of targets that I was hitting and goals that I had within myself. For me and myself was always my dad always asking me, I'd make one team, and then my dad would always like, okay, cool. When are you going to make the next team? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? And for me, it was sort of the progression that I saw even early on, making the sort of we have these Canterbury teams, these local teams full of like the best players and things like that, and just always finding myself in those teams and stuff like that. But most importantly, I think is when you get to about 18, 19, I think, a lot of players seem to fizzle out and drop out. But I found myself still eager, and wanting it, I think is the most important thing, is willing to train hard, stay dedicated and focused, and I'm not getting distracted. So yeah, and then obviously I think in New Zealand as well, if you've sort of hit a sort of point at the top, um, and you're doing that repeatedly and you find yourself in that sort of caliber of top players, I think then obviously it's a step where you realize that you think you can take that next step. So yeah.
Yeah. So like if we say that your father had your father role is the main role to bringing you towards football. So it's right, yeah.
Yeah, my dad was a big part. It's obviously tough for my dad. He obviously moved from Pakistan to New Zealand, and obviously not being able to speak much English. He works a lot. So with him as well, I've had a good relationship with him, and he's always sort of pushed me with my football as well. And it's always wanting to do well for your family and stuff. I mean, any young kids' dream is to make their parents happy. So I feel always sort of getting that satisfaction from my dad is always good, but he's also the one that's pushing me a lot. Because their sort of mindset is, you know, like Pakistani sort of mindset is sort of, especially New Zealanders, they want their kids to grow up and be, lawyers, doctors, engineers and stuff. So as soon as there's one sort of playing football, you've got to make sure that, you're properly doing it, otherwise there's no point. So yeah, got to thank my dad a lot for being so supportive and letting me chase my dreams.
Yeah, yeah, that's problem is not only in New Zealand.
Yeah, I figured.
Haris, sorry, yeah. Sorry, Haris, my question was, what is the state of football in New Zealand, basically? How does it be in New Zealand for football, basically? And how do you see New Zealand football circle as a possible platform for Pakistani footballers, or you can say footballers from the developing football nations? How is it in New Zealand, basically?
Yeah, definitely. It's very good. So basically there was an old structure that was there a few years ago, but I'll just touch base on how it is now. So basically, in New Zealand, we've obviously got the North Island and the South Island, and during the Winter League, it's broken up into three different leagues. So there's the Northern League, which is Auckland and obviously the North Island. There's the Wellington League, which is the lower of the North Island, and then there's the Southern League. So basically, however well you do in your winter competition determines whether you qualify for the main league, which is the National League at the end of the year, if you sort of grasp that. So basically, the top top four teams, sorry, from the Northern League, the top four teams from the Wellington League, and then the top two teams from the Southern League will come together at the end of the year and play a big National League, and sort of obviously battle out to see who's the best team. But definitely, yeah, the football landscape is good here. I think definitely we attract a lot of players from overseas. I think that's probably a thing that people don't really realize, is that, obviously New Zealand being so far away and things like that, we get players from everywhere. A lot of Irish, a lot of English, a lot of Germans, you name it, everywhere, and even other Pakistani players. I've spoken to not you guys obviously know Naveed Rahman in Canada. He's obviously a former Pakistan player, and
Yeah,
it's just such a
yeah, he is
small
playing.
world because we were talking through Instagram and stuff like that, and he mentioned that he was actually close to joining a team in New Zealand a few years ago, and that was actually the team that I was playing for, and we were just thinking like that's so strange. And then obviously I've been in touch with a few of the Pakistani players like Imran Kayani and stuff. We've had a chat, and I said, listen, if you did ever want to come out these ways, I'm sure I can talk to a few clubs for you. So it's definitely very strong in New Zealand in the terms of we do get a lot of players that have been playing their professional career overseas, and then they want something different, and I feel like in New Zealand for them, you get obviously the beautiful infrastructure and the lifestyle here, but then you also get really good sort of football packages and football teams and stuff that sort of look after you. And so it's definitely a league that I do think has the potential to grow and has a lot of good young quality players in there. But it also provides a step for players to do well here and then push on forward, whether they want to go Europe or American colleges and stuff like that. So yeah.
Basically, Haris, I was writing about a dashboard about you, and in my research, one thing I observed was your ability to play at different positions: the right wing back, right back, on the right wing.
Yeah.
How do you see the importance of playing of this ability to play at different positions, and how does it help a player like you to develop? Basically, once you are starting in the team. So how does it help a younger player like you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's sort of yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because honestly the last 2 years I've been thrown in around, so many different positions. I've played striker, I played wing back, I played right wing, left wing, I even played right back. But for me, I think that's a great attribute. I feel that's a testament to obviously the person's ability. So for me, I think my main strength is my sort of dribbling, my athleticism, my speed, my 1v1. So I think, yeah, obviously from a coach's standpoint, they want players that can be able to sort of play in multiple different positions and things like that. But yeah, obviously for other players and stuff like that and coaches, I think, yeah, it's obviously good. Last year I was playing everywhere, striker, right wing, and then also even played a game at right back in the last game for Christchurch United last year, where I thought I actually probably played, my best game. So yeah, definitely something that I don't mind at all. And obviously when I do start the games and things like that, for me, I'm comfortable anywhere. I mean, I know some players, they prefer the left, the right, but for me, as long as I'm on the pitch and I have the ball, I feel like, I have a confidence within myself to be able to adapt to any situation. So yeah.
Yeah, so I want to that in the start you have said that you have Pakistan background. So I want to ask, is there any plan to join Pakistan team, and have anyone inquired you, and anyone reached you out? So please give a detail on
Yeah,
that as well.
yeah, for sure. I'm sure you guys might have seen a few things pop out, obviously last year and things like that. But yeah, I was I'll take it back to when it first sort of happened. So I was talking to Shazad Anwar, the previous coach, and I was due to join the team for the Mauritius tour, and then obviously the SAF Championship in India. But unfortunately, I think it was a week or 2 weeks before I was supposed to fly out. I'd been struggling with this sort of foot injury, and what happened was I actually fractured that foot again, the bone again. So basically, I went and saw my surgeon, and he said, "Listen, you can go play, but you won't be 100%, but you will definitely need the surgery in the future." And so for me, it was the sort of thing is, do I want to join the team at 60, 70%, or do I want to join them after I have my surgery and at 100% later on in the year? So yeah, I had been having a lot of phone calls with Coach Shazad, and things were looking good. But then obviously picked up that injury and just said, "Listen, I'm gonna have the surgery, and I'll inshallah join the team later on in the year." And he just said, "Listen, it's all good. We'll keep in touch and things like that." And then yeah, we were in touch over that sort of winter period in New Zealand while I was recovering, and then I was due to join the team for the under 23 qualifiers. But yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure how much I can touch base regarding that. All I can say is that, it was sort of right in the pipeline. Things were sort of getting ready for myself to sort of fly over there. But last minute, I was called and told that they wanted to take a local squad, and that it wasn't, Coach Shazad's, his decision, which was fine. If they want to take a local squad and they want to sort of focus on the World Cup qualifiers, that's fine. I mean, that's completely the decision. But yeah, obviously, I think you saw what happened is, the squad didn't do as well, and then obviously it's hard for the coach when results aren't going your way. But then yeah, Coach Shazad obviously, parted ways with the federation. But yeah, I haven't heard anything from Stefan Constantine regarding my place in the squad for these upcoming games and stuff. But 100% for me, it would be such a big honor to represent Pakistan, and I was devastated last year when it didn't pull through. But if there was ever the opportunity to play again, then 100% I'll be the first one. I'll run to the airport. It'd be such an honor to sort of obviously represent my country, and be so great for my family and things like that. So definitely in the future, if the federation do feel like they need my services and they feel like I can benefit the team, then 100% I'll be there. But at the moment, I'm not too sure what's going on, but it's all good.
Yeah, great, and it will be great to see you in green shirts, which Shamal is wearing now. But tell me about your paperwork. Is your paperwork is complete, or or your paperwork was gone to procedure after your confirmation to join the national team?
Yeah. So basically what happened is that at the end of 2021, I sort of knew that I wanted to go and play football overseas. So I was getting ready to move to Finland. And just I knew with traveling, it's handy to have as many passports as possible. So at the time, I had my New Zealand passport and I had the NICAB, the national identity card, but I also picked up my Pakistani passport just because I never knew when I might need it. So I managed to sort that out in New Zealand with the embassy here. So from that point, I'm pretty sure I don't need any other documents. I'm ready to go. Yeah, I think when I was talking to Coach Shazad, like everything was sorted. I had my Pakistani passport, so there wasn't real issues for me joining the squad.
All right.
Haris, continuing this topic, what do you think about the Pakistani football potential and the future? Of course, talking about the players too, about the infrastructure, the governance. Understandable that the governance isn't the greatest in Pakistan football currently, but how do you see Pakistan football for the future?
For sure. So from my point of view, I think there's so much potential. There's so much. I think you can see it with the players, with the diaspora players that they've got. And at the moment, you're attracting guys like Izai Suleiman, Odis Khan, Rahis Nabi, and, there's a few other names being thrown out there. So I think the sky's the limit, honestly. But obviously, I think it's tough, for some of the local guys just because the infrastructure isn't there. But even watching them, you can see that they have the natural ability, the strength, the speed, But I mean, it's obviously going to be tough when there's not the right infrastructure in Pakistan for them to play. Like for example, you've got your Pakistan national team squad, and you've got some of the local guys that aren't playing in Pakistan, and then you've got them playing against Saudi Arabia in Saudi Arabia against guys that are playing with Ronaldo. It's such a big contrast, but you can see how well the players are holding their own. So for me, it's sort of in Pakistan, if football can sort of keep growing and the fans can keep getting in behind, the governing body, and get behind building facilities and stuff for the youth, then honestly, there's no reason why we can't go to the top. Honestly, I think you've seen what the squad's been able to achieve at the moment with obviously all the stuff going on in the background. So I think honestly, if they sort of can fix the issues that are going on at the moment, then I think there's no reason why the local players, they can't go overseas and play, or they can't get more of those guys involved with the squad and things like that. But I feel like it's such a big issue, and it's not an overnight fix. It's going to take a lot of time, and I think that's one thing that I think sort of the fan base, or sort of fans need to grasp, is that this is not like a 2-year, 1-year fix. This is going to take a while. To get the squad together, to get the camps together, get the players training together. Training on proper pitches and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, there's so much potential, and I think even watching the local guys, the diaspora players, I was so happy just to see such a good bunch of Pakistani players playing together. But yeah, definitely the sky's the limit. I just feel, obviously there's a few things that need to be worked on, but there's no reason why we can't achieve a lot together.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now
but
we are like
and
discussing Europe opportunity, Pakistan opportunities. So please tell me about some Europe opportunities.
My opportunities with what? Sorry.
Your Europe opportunities, and the side of UK football opportunities in UK.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think obviously you guys know that I did play a little bit in Finland. I was there back and forth.
yeah.
Honestly, it was a great experience. I signed for a team there, got off to a good start, but at the time I was just struggling with a lot of injuries. I'd played my first game. I got 2 goals, 2 assists. So started off on a flyer, and then the next week I was in training, and then I broke my foot again. It's just an injury which I've been struggling with a lot. So yeah, I came back and I had a surgery. Then I went back over, and was training and playing, but then it broke again. So so then I decided that I'm gonna see out the rest of the year, which was last year in New Zealand, and then like I said, I'm sort of realistic. I knew that to get a move, you need to be fit, you need to be healthy, and you need to have a lot of games under your belt. So I sort of put in my mind that this year was obviously work hard and get back to the level I know I can play at, make sure that I'm not struggling with any injuries, and then inshallah would be great to head back to Finland or Europe or any other countries. 100%, that's definitely on the horizon for me.
All right. So I would like Shumal to ask any question if he has.
Yeah.
Haris, you discussed about the role of your father in your journey. I've seen your brother also plays football. So how does this family support help basically in football, being coming from your father or you're from siblings? How does it help?
Yeah, for sure. So it's a bit of a funny one. So obviously me and my brother grew up sort of playing together, and sort of obviously playing in my city, Christchurch. But it was pretty early on that we knew that my brother was he was the genius. So he's quite smart. He's just finished his accounting degree, and he's starting his office job. So obviously I think my parents were a bit happy that at least one of the brothers is going to be making quite a bit of money and doing the old the route that they wanted, the study route. So I think no, definitely even my mum and my dad, they both knew, I think, growing up and stuff, they knew that football was sort of my passion and things like that. But I think obviously recently in the past like 3 to 4 years, they've sort of realized what I'm doing with it and how it's been going and stuff. So they've been really supportive. But in my brother's instance, he plays football here in New Zealand, but he knows that he hasn't really got goals to go and play professionally. But he's sort of focused on his work life, and and yeah, playing football more for the social side and things like that. But yeah, I think obviously, like I said, with my parents and stuff, I think they're happy that my brother's at home with them, working his big boy job, and they're happy for me to go out and keep playing my football at the moment. So happy days with that.
So how is the current season going with Birkenhead?
Yeah, it's been good. So basically, we're still in pre-season. So the season's starting in 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's been tough. A lot of running. It's summer here in New Zealand at the moment, so
Yeah.
we've been running so much, but it's been good. Feeling fit, feeling strong. We've got a really good squad this year. Birkenhead has always sort of been one of the top clubs in New Zealand, but last year they did have not the greatest season, but there was a few off-field issues were going on, things like that I spoke about with the coach. But I'm not too sure if you've seen on their Instagram or their social media, but we've signed a lot of players, so it's almost a completely different squad. So yeah, now looking forward to it. We've got really good players and things like that, good young squad, a lot of energy. So yeah, we've got the season starting in 3 weeks, so just buzzing to get started again.
Inshallah. Best of luck for the season, and hopefully we will see you shining in the green shirt too very soon. Probably against Saudi when they come to play against us in Islamabad.
Yeah, inshallah, that's my dream. That'd be awesome.
Inshallah. So, Haris, anything you want to share before concluding this? Anything you want to share?
Not too much from my point of view. I just want to let the fans know, if there was ever the opportunity to put on the green shirt, then I'd definitely put my hand up. I think obviously playing for Pakistan would be a dream. So just want to let the fans know that inshallah, hopefully my time comes, and I just hope that in the meantime, you guys can back the players, back the local guys, and obviously with the things going on that are sort of out of their control, that you guys just continue to support them and help them with these big games coming up.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely. So
What is
let's
your
move. Okay, yes, Sharman.
what is your prediction for the game against Jordan?
It's tough, honestly. Jordan are a good team.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. But listen, the boys did it against Cambodia. So there's no reason why they can't do it against Jordan. Football's a funny game. Anything can happen. So definitely we'll be supporting the boys in green and hoping they take the win. So yeah, we'll be definitely backing
Inshallah.
Pakistan.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, so Haris, let's move forward to our rapid round questions. I will ask a
Yep.
question and you have to answer in a second. So, your
In a second.
favorite player growing up,
Ronaldo.
your favorite manager,
Jose Mourinho.
or your favorite stadium?
Stadium. Ooh.
Yes.
That would be Anfield.
And your favorite club,
Liverpool.
and your favorite holiday destination.
Ooh. I went to Hawaii last year, and I love that. So definitely Hawaii.
All right. So at the end, any message to the aspiring players, and those are keen to join the football professionally, and those are yet to come in this field. So what's your message to them? That what do they do to make football their profession?
Yeah, definitely. Things that I've sort of taken into account is definitely staying dedicated, training hard, eating well, and the setbacks are going to be there. Whether it be from your parents, whether it be from injuries, whether it be from so many things. If you just stick at it, the opportunities will arise, and obviously, yeah, trust in Allah. He's the best of planners. So whatever's written for you will happen. But yeah, from that, definitely just train hard, work hard, don't mind the setbacks, and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that would be
yes. So
that would
Haris,
be
thank you
great.
very much for joining us on the show, and thank you, Shamel, for co-hosting this interview along with me. And thank you to
Welcome.
the audience those tuned in to watch this interview. And please like, share, and subscribe, and follow Haris' journey. And inshallah, we will see him soon in green jersey. For till then, हमें इजाजत दें. Allah Hafiz.